Hello, I'm Haley, and this is Taya, and welcome to Haley and Taya Rip Up Supernatural and Start Over, and also sometimes talk about other stuff, a podcast.
Also known as HATRUSA, and this week we are talking about Supernatural Season 1, Episode 17, Hell House, which originally aired on March 30th, 2006, and was written by Trey Calloway.
Woohoo. Before we start anything, content warning, this episode contains heavy use of hangings, which are then interpreted as suicides, and then there's also just mentions of suicides.
Yes. So, yeah, we're not going to talk about anything graphic.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna say, like, that they died, because that's what happens, but that is how they die. A lot of that, like, all of them, so.
Yes, and if you have not seen these episodes, and, like, are possibly thinking about watching them, I will say you do see not only one character who has been hanged, but you see one character actively being hanged.
Yes.
So if that is something that triggers you, I would
Skip it
or find a website that tells you the exact timestamps, because they just show, like, all of it.
Yeah, there's also a scene where a character, like, sort of goofs about it.
Yes. They
So
kind of, like, fake it.
Yeah. So, stay safe. This episode was, like, a solid one, and I'm gonna do a summary. So, here we go. We start off 2 months earlier, and we're in Texas, which is always a bad sign. And this group of teenagers, because it's always a group of teenagers, goes to a haunted house, you know how it is, and they're like, haha, this is so silly, but then they find a body of a girl, and they're like, oh fuck, and they freak out, and they call the police, and they leave. And also the body's gone when the police get there. Then Sam and Dean are in a prank war this episode, but they go to Texas, and they're driving through Texas, and Sam was like, hey, so I checked this, I knew we were going to be in Texas, so I was checking paranormal websites and found this thing. So they go investigate it, they find some shit, and get told some things about dead people who maybe probably died. And then they visit the house, and there's symbols painted in there, and they're like, whoa, that's so crazy. These look vaguely familiar and are definitely things that exist, but we don't know what they are. And Dean is really hung up on this one. He's like, wow, that looks so fucking familiar. I don't know what it's from, though. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at this. LOL. My name's Dean Winchester. They also, while they're searching this house, run into Ed Zedmore and Harry Spangler, aka the best characters in Supernatural. They aren't known as them yet, but they're the Ghost Facers, and you will love them, because we love them.
You will love them.
So, Sam and Dean do research, can't find anything about this ghost guy, Mordecai. They're like, huh, that's so crazy, what the fuck? But they keep hearing, like, different things of this, like, legend, so they're not sure what to believe. And when they return next, it's policed. There's police people, and so they can't go there, but they can because Dean fucking pranks the Hellhound people. That's Harry and Ed, and he gets the police to, like, pay attention to them. And they go into the house again, figure out something probably, and they go home and find out something else, and then Dean recognizes that the symbol is from a record that he saw in the record shop that he visited at the beginning, where he talked to the boy about the house. And he's like, what the fuck? And the boy's like, okay, fine, we made it up. And so then Sam and Dean are like, oh fuck, we're dealing with a tulpa, which is a manifestation of a thought, it says on the wiki. And Sam and Dean are like, well, we have to change what people think so that we can kill this thing. Well, the Ghost Facers don't do it because their website thing crashes before it can update. So Sam and Dean and them can't kill the thing with the way that they wanted to. So Dean just burns the house down and is like, well, if there's no house to haunt, then there's no house to haunt. And there's no ghost to be there. So then they leave.
Yeah. I will say, and this could possibly go in the notes at the end, but they do realize it is a tulpa supposedly because of this symbol on the wall that they see, one of them, which they literally just call Tibetan tulpa spirit sigil. And when I talk about tulpas later, when I'm talking about all the random things wrong in this episode, I'll talk about it more. But they don't talk about it, but I have this theory that maybe burning the house burnt down could have worked if the reason the tulpa actually manifested was because this sigil was drawn and the sigil gets destroyed. However, the show never actually validates that. That's just my only, they're just like, well, if there's no house, he can't exist. And you're like, I guess? It kind of, a much, much, much better episode than Bugs, but it kind of leaves you with the same, did you guys solve this? Did you actually kill the monster? I don't know. I'm unsure.
Yeah, so that's fun. We don't really, we don't know. But we can guess that probably.
I sure fucking hope so. Because they all just leave. They're like, good job, guys. And I'm like, I hope so. I hope it was a good job.
Hope so.
Hope some other hunter doesn't have to clean up your fucking mess.
But they always do. You know that.
They do.
That's what they do. So you don't have anything else to say about that? That was a solid enough summary as it was?
That was a good summary.
Cool. Yeah. Basically, it's just a lot of, as they usually do, thinking that it's one thing, but then realizing it's another.
Mm-hmm.
So, my notes. Back to the original OP. Sam, Dean, get your brother and run as fast as you can. 2 brothers. It's the family business. That one. We're in Texas. Uh-oh. Obsessed with the pink deer jacket. It sucks. In the beginning, there's a character.
It's terrible. It's
she
ugly.
Looks from far away like Sam Puckett, Miss Gemma McCurdy, iCarly. But from close up, you're like, okay, that's definitely not her. But looks like her from far away, and she's wearing this awful plaid flannel deer jacket.
It's not flannel, it's almost felt looking, right. And I was like, that was so much cuter when I thought it was flannel.
Yeah, and from far away it looked cute, with just the pink flannel design looking, but then you get closer and see the deers within the squares, and you were like, okay, wait, very bad. Sleepy Sammy, oh my god. Sam was asleep when we first see him, and he was fucking slumped, and it was just really cute.
Yep.
Oh my god, are they gonna have a prank war? The answer was yes. They were. They are. It's a prank war episode. And I think we definitely have more of those, but we have this one. I love Hellhound's Lair. I am so excited for the Ghost Facers is my next note, because I love them.
Valid.
And I'm so excited for them, and I want them to come back immediately, even though I know
I miss them already.
I believe
it's gonna be a hot sec, isn't it? It's not even, is it even the season?
No, it is season 3 they coming back. So we won't see them for a while.
We missed them already. You know what? I bet they weren't supposed to come back, kind of like how Castiel was only supposed to be a few episode a 4-episode character or something. Right. But then fans liked them so much that they brought them back and then kept bringing them back and then killed one of them.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. So weird confessional style cuts when Dean and Sam go into the diner where they go, and Sam's like, where do you think we're gonna find him? And Dean's like, where do you think we're gonna find teenagers in Texas? And they go to this roadside diner, and they're interviewing the teenagers who went into the house, and they're all, it's cut up like a confessional style, Total Drama Island-esque confessionals of them just talking into the camera, but it's the camera, we're supposed to, it's an understanding that the camera is Dean's face or Sam's face, but it was really fun. I liked it.
It was fun and a different editing style. It doesn't fit in Supernatural, and it doesn't really fit in even this episode because they don't continue that kind of filming throughout the rest of it, but it's so fun. And I like that brief scene of it. You're just it pulls you out of Supernatural for a sec, and there's something about the girl's hairstyle too that was very 80s, and the whole vibe where it just felt a little out of time, and I liked it.
It was good. Holy shit. I just looked at my tattoo.
You haven't mentioned it yet this recording.
I haven't mentioned it yet.
Oh my god.
Hey guys, today's Homestuck Day. The day we're recording, it's 4/13. It's Homestuck Day. So I did my 7-year dream, and I finally got a Homestuck tattoo. So I have my first ever tattoo. It's on my arm. And it's a Homestuck tattoo, and it's really cool and awesome, and I really like it a lot.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Anyway, Supernatural.
Sam's hair is getting long, because it is, and it progressively through the episode, I didn't mention this, but Taya mentioned when we were watching, it like progressively gets poofier through the episode.
It does.
Like when it starts, it's very flat. I can only assume that he showered. Like that has to be it. Sam and Dean both wearing at least 3 layers. We love it. They were both wearing, so Sam was wearing like a flannel over a button-up over a t-shirt, and Dean was wearing his leather jacket over a t-shirt. And I was like, God. And my next note is, must keep in rewrite layers on these bitches.
We have totally said that before.
I know we've said it before, but
we have to keep saying it. We have to keep saying it.
It's so good. It's just
I think
really
Dean
good.
always keeps it, but like Sam totally like gets less layers over time and then is just wearing like one button up, and I'm not about it. We need the layers.
We need the layers.
We need them.
Yeah. So
anyway.
we keep them. Love the shitty little phone cameras throughout the episode. And I feel like they haven't utilized their phone cameras much, but like this episode they use them a lot. And it was just like Dean has like one of the shitty little flip phones, and Sam has one that looks like slightly more advanced because he was in normal civilization for at least 3 years. So like his phone's a little bit more advanced than Dean's, but they still both have like shitty little 2005 phones.
I would go with almost 4, but yes.
Yeah, 4 years. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, they just keep using them. Then Ghost Facers, yeah, I screamed. I was very excited. Bitch looks like Seth Rogen, because he did. And later in the episode, we were like, wait a minute, does he actually look like Seth Rogen? So I went to Google it, and as soon as I tried to Google it, my computer crashed.
Yeah. So if you are inclined, when we open our Patreon, which we should set a hard number. When we get 50 followers on Spotify, if we ever hit that number, we're at like 11. If we ever hit 50 followers on Spotify, then we will start releasing commentary, maybe every other week or something like that. But when you get to this episode, luckily Haley's computer actually saved what was happening.
Saved it.
Which is great, because we were like, well, we can just upload my half and we can awkwardly play Guess the Conversation. But yeah, there is a point where Haley cuts out and I'm really awkward for a while, and then I just start rambling. So that's really fun. And that's also why Haley's here, because if I had a podcast by myself, it would be insufferable.
Yeah, I'm here to balance it out and talk about shit as also well. Prank number 1 on Dean is Spanish music in car. The pranks start out really weak in this episode. I will get to more later to show that they get better, but like at first it's just like Dean puts a spoon in Sam's mouth while he's sleeping, and Sam puts on Spanish
and takes a
music
picture
in Dean's car. Yeah, so they're really weak at the beginning, and I'm like, guys, get better, but they do. So like, good for them. Then I wrote, you think there's brains in those jar? Oh wait, specifically the note says, it says, you think there are brain in those jar? Because I think there were brain in those jar. Dean actually dared Sam to drink out of one of them, and he was. They
literally never tell us what are in those fucking jars. No. But since
Sam was like, "Why the hell would I do that?"
Since it's spoiler alert, a fake haunted house, quite literally.
Yeah.
Until it's haunted. As they are.
Right.
It's probably just colored liquid and candy or plastic. Like, they went to Party City and found some fake brains and dumped them in jars.
But, like, I really wish it was, like...
It's probably Kool-Aid, dude.
Yeah. Listen, my science teacher in 7th grade had like so much like shit preserved in jars in the back of her classroom.
Oh my god, same. My AP bio teacher, we had a
She had like
hard lockdown
snakes
once.
and lizards and shit.
Yeah, we had a hard lockdown once, and sorry we're off topic. This is gonna be a long ass episode, but we didn't get to talk enough in our our commentary.
Yeah,
so.
I got dead.
But we were having a hard lockdown once, and for those of you not in the United States, that basically means that you all curl up in a corner in the dark with the doors locked. That is the furthest from any windows or doors. And this is a safety measure for either weather or a violent intruder. So we were having a hard lockdown for reasons that I can't remember. So we're sitting in there in the dark, and you're not supposed to talk, but it lasted so long, we started whispering to each other, and we were like kind of freaking out because like a real hard lockdown is scary. And so
Right.
my AP bio teacher started telling us about this jar that had been sitting on top of the cabinets all year, and was like, yeah, that's like a dissolving preserved rat. And I was like, oh.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Yeah. She her name was Miss Rock. Shout out to you, Miss Rock. She's gay married. She was a lesbian. I love her.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. And she would give extra credit if you had to get your tonsils out or anything during when you had her, and if you brought in you were able to keep your tonsils and like bring them to her
Oh,
to
gross.
preserve, she would give you extra credit. Yeah. She was really cool. She also said that she told everybody she was an alien. She was awesome.
That is so valid of her. Anyway, we should talk about
Anyway.
Supernatural. Oh my god.
Hey, yeah, this is a warning for y'all. Yeah, this was where one of the ghost victims happens, and the police are like, yup, it's a suicide. She was a straight A student with a full ride to an Ivy League school. We can't believe it happened. And Taya and I were like, fuck off.
I don't like when they do
Like,
that.
shut up.
In ghost shows, they do it a lot.
They do it
where
in
they're
ghost shows. They do it in real, actual life, like in true crime videos. And it's like,
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like, they're always like, oh, but they were so happy. And it's like, and?
Yeah,
you know,
and?
it's just, these shows never are a good representation of mental health anyway. But it's always, like, you never want to have that kind of reaction, like, but why would they do it? It's like, it feels very insensitive.
right. So, fuck off, stop it. We hate that, and we're changing that.
Just cut that line.
We are taking out every instance of that ever in Supernatural, and if it does happen, we're gonna have Dean or Sam or somebody be like, "Hey, shut up!" Like literally stop talking, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, what did I say?" And they're gonna be like, "Fuck, you don't even just shut up, like stop." Dean sacrificed the ghost facers. R.I.P. So sad.
It's really funny.
It was really funny. He literally shouts out, "Who you gonna call?"
Yeah, because after this girl dies, the police put up like basically just like a at night at least surveillance. They just have some people standing around and like caution tape so people don't enter because they don't want kids going in there, obviously. And so Sam and Dean are like, ah, shit, how are we gonna get in? But the ghost facers, who are not currently the ghost facers, show up, and Dean is just like throws them under the bus, and they just run inside. They're just like, whoop.
So it was really good. Hee rat closet, LOL. That's all. I don't want to continue that one. It's good enough. Taya cracked the Blue Oyster cult code.
Hell yes! I did it!
So Taya likes to Google things, specifically like symbols and stuff, while we're watching it to like talk about them later, which is fantastic. We love it. But in this episode, there was the symbol that Dean is like, wow, that looks really familiar. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
Taya was like, I gotta look that up. And I was like, what? The question mark with a cross? And Taya was like, yeah. So they looked it up, and they go, what the fuck? It's for the Blue Oyster Cult. It's a band.
Yes!
How funny would it be if that was just like something that happens in the show? Like if it's just like a band thing.
It is!
It fucking was.
It
Literally
is!
in the next scene, they go to the record shop and Taya's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it happened.
It was thrilling. It was like, I don't think you guys understand. So I hate research unless it's something that I'm like really invested in, and also it's not attached to school at all. If it's attached to school, I'm allergic to it. But I love researching bullshit. So I was just like looking at this logo, and I'm like, I'm on this website, and I'm like, man, it's telling me like this different mythology and stuff, but it's not saying that this symbol is actually, like, from something before. And it's not. It's just the Blue Oyster Cult symbol.
Because the whole thing is...
They painted it on the wall.
Yeah, the record boy and his cousin,
they thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, they thought it would be funny, so, like, they spray painted a bunch of these fake, well, not fake symbols, obviously, they're real symbols from, like, records and shit, but, like, they
had records, and then some from her theology textbooks, which is where they get the Tulpa symbol. And the pentagram, I don't know why they needed a theology book for a pentagram.
You know, just in case. So, this kid really just made shit up and pissed a ghost off, is what I wrote at first. But then we uncovered, and my next note is, oh, LOL, he made a tulpa on accident. Which, like, fucking, thanks a lot, kid.
Yep.
Now people are dying.
Died? Yeah. Yeah.
My next note is, Dean pranks Sam, haha, itchy soap.
I didn't even catch that one because I was, like, looking up random shit. And I was like, wait, what did Sam do? And Haley had to explain it to me.
My next note is titties.
Oh, my God.
There were titties.
Anyway.
It was on a poster, but they were there. My next note is, you could probably bitch slap them both. Sam said that to Dean about the ghost facers that aren't ghost facers yet. And I just really liked that line. Because
I love them so much.
The next line is, I love Sam and Dean playing these idiots like a fiddle. Because they were just like beefing it up. They were like, yeah, we could tell you, but you have to promise that you won't say anything about it. And they're like,
oh, did we explain why they did that?
No.
Okay, real quick. So, I actually don't know enough about tulpas, but essentially the idea is if enough people believe in something, then it'll become true. So the ghost facers, essentially, because they put this shit on their website, they had enough readers to believe in it and manifest it, basically. So what Sam and Dean tried to do is they tried to make it so this ghost would be injured by guns and or salt bullet thingies. I can't remember which. It doesn't matter though, because that's what Haley meant when their servers crashed. So that update never got posted and people didn't manifest that version of the ghost.
Yeah. So fucking bonkers in there.
Fucking bonkers, dude.
But we love it.
I love the ghost facers. There's something really special about supernatural episodes that, like, there are, like, I don't want to make it seem like this episode is, like, super lighthearted. They have a weird tone problem, I think, in this episode where, like, the ghost is, like, kind of serious. Especially with the deaths, I would say, like, there's a lot of graphic deaths, but, like, these ones I feel like are a little bit, or the one that we see is, like, that's just, like, it's less gore and more, like, oh! But, like, the ghost facers and the prank war, like, those aspects of supernatural, like, when the episodes that just don't take themselves as seriously are always more fun, because other times the show is just way too serious. I just dropped a bunch of shit on the floor. I'm sorry.
You know what? Sometimes you do that, and that's okay.
My highlighters.
So, it's fine. My next note is Samuel. Hand glue bottle his laugh. Very precious. That was so. When I said their pranks get better, Sam literally super glues Dean's super glues the beer bottle when they're at a diner, they're eating and drinking, and they both have a beer, and Sam put super glue on Dean's beer bottle when he wasn't looking, and so Dean's hand gets stuck to the fucking beer bottle, and Sam laughed, and it was, like, very precious. It was a very good moment.
It was a good moment, and also there's a fucking annoying laughing dude with a fish that they later used to distract the cops.
Well, that's my next note, because they use it to distract the cops by, like, taking it and putting it in the forest. But did Dean thief that pull string dummy? Like, what?
Yeah.
What are they behind the scenes there? Did he
they
like
just
offer
fucking
money for
lifted
it, or did he straight up just like take
I'm guessing they just fucking lifted it off the wall and sprinted.
That's what I can only assume. But, like, oh my god, how did they, like, huh? Like, how do you just do that? I can't imagine that's, like, an easy thing to get away with, because I feel like that's one of those things that's been there for quite a while.
Haley?
Yeah?
They get away with, like, a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is in our rewrite, that needs to be a scene that's, like, written out.
It would be very funny to actually see happen.
Yeah, so, like,
The reason they don't show it is because it's supposed to be, like, the next cut is, like, officers in the woods, and you slowly, like, the laughing gets louder, and you're supposed to recognize it, so it's supposed to be, like, a little bit of a surprise and, like, suspenseful.
Right.
I didn't think it was suspenseful because I immediately knew it was the fucking annoying laughing fish dude.
Right.
But I think we should skip the suspense and go for the goof.
I think that in our rewrite, Supernatural is, like, a little bit of a comedy now.
We make it like a dark comedy.
Yes.
Instead, we take away some of the drama and we make it a dark comedy.
It's a dark comedy, and there's still obviously drama because it needs to be there, but, like, less.
But, like, a little less. A little less. We should
Like,
hurry up because it's been 30 minutes. Holy
That's
fuck.
fine. So, my next note is, dude repeating "the power of Christ compels you" really got me. I can't remember if it was Harry or Ed. I think it was Ed.
It was the one that looks like Seth Rogen who crashed your computer.
Okay, so that one's Harry.
Cool.
So, yeah, it was really I liked it a lot. I just thought it was goofy. And then my next note is BRB adding arson to Dean's extensive list of federal crimes. Because he really burned an entire building down.
To be fair, I think it was probably, like, not...
Oh, it was, like, super abandoned and stuff, but it's still a building, and it's still arson.
It's still arson, yeah.
Hell House RPG coming to Steam summer 2021 is my next note.
I'm so sad that was also that Sam called them.
Yeah, Sam.
They were like, we got a call from a producer in LA, and it was Sam. I'm so sad this RPG doesn't exist.
I know. Can we hey, does somebody, like, make RPGs? Can somebody make a Hell House RPG, please? Thank you.
Contact us. We'll write for it.
It'll be really good. My next note is, Sam, that's so mean. Oh my god, King. Because that's when I found out that it was Sam who called. I was like, oh my god, stop.
And Dean put the fucking fish thing in the back of their car.
Yeah. And then finally end with driving away. Classic. And that's Hell House.
That's Haley's notes.
That's Haley's notes on Hell House.
So now we're gonna do a fun section that doesn't have a goddamn name.
Oh no, it does have a name. I've named it.
It does?
Temporarily, it is called Taya's True Traditions. Working title.
We will workshop it. Okay, but Taya's True Traditions, that's actually a little bit hard to say.
I like alliteration.
Haley's notes is not alliteration, though.
No,
have you ever
but
considered that?
I took the moment and I ran.
Okay, fine. So this is basically just a section.
It could also be called Taya's Truth Corner.
Taya's Truth Corner, sure, whatever. It's basically where I'm going to talk about, like, lore stuff outside of notes. I did touch a little bit on them already, but, like, just a full section. Because I talk about a lot of shit. Because I do a lot of Googling. And so the first thing I want to note is that this is actually on the Hell House Errors page, or section. Love that for it. It says they mention a sigil of sulfur, but show a symbol of a cross inside a circle, which resembles a sun cross. First of all, I looked it up. It's not a sun cross if you do a little digging. Hey, Wikipedia, do a little more digging. And I do want to say, I did look up the Sigil of Sulfur, and yeah, that's not what it fucking looks like. The Sigil of Sulfur is also known as the Leviathan's Cross or Satan's Cross. It is associated with alchemy and Satanism, which, if you actually look into Satanism, isn't evil. But it is also an alchemical symbol for sulfur associated with the fire and brimstone of hell. Blah, 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 blah. But if you're actually looking up the actual image that they saw, which was kind of like a plus sign in a circle, that is a Greek cross or ancient Russian Corsan cross, which according to this website is an ancient Christian cross, which according to tradition, St. Prince Vladimir was baptized in the city of Corsan. I might be mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. He brought a Corsan cross from there and placed it on the bank of the river Dnieper in Kiev. The cross is now kept in St. Sophia's Cathedral in Kiev. It was carved on the marble plate of Prince Yaroslav's grave, the son of St. Vladimir. Quite often, this cross is painted inside a circle, which symbolizes the universal meaning of Christ. And this show loves to do this fun thing. You might have noticed if you've paid attention to me talking about symbols, where they'll be like, oh, this is a satanic symbol, and then it isn't. It's just a cross. It's just a different kind of cross. Even, I think Sam specifically says, like, it's an upside down cross, and it isn't. And I'm just, like, sitting here. And also, in case you're wondering why Haley's not chiming in, it's because her PC crashed again. So she'll be back, and I'll probably do a little breaksy when I'm done talking about this. So then I do want to say, real brief, I did find out that the Blue Oyster cult symbol ahead of time, it's called the Hook and Cross, and it was designed by Bill Galwick in January 1972 and appears on all of the band's albums. And apparently, according to Greek mythology, the hook and cross symbol is that of Kronos, which I actually did know, the king of the Titans and the father of Zeus, and is the alchemical symbol for lead, a heavy metal, one of the heaviest metals. It also resembled the astrological sign for Saturn and the sickle, which is associated both with Kronos and Saturn, which are basically equivalent. So it's got religious roots, but it's not actually a thing. So I actually thought it was really funny that I figured that out beforehand. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the Tulpa symbol, because as far as I can tell from my brief research, and I am going to be honest with you, I do not know that much about tulpas. It doesn't really, like, no one's really sure what it actually is. As far as I can tell, if there is something out there that is, like, concrete, please let me know and I will happily amend it. But I was on wiki.tulpa.info, and so tulpas are originating from Tibetan and Indian Buddhism, and I cannot vouch for how accurate anything in this episode is or how culturally appropriate, but I am going to read you a section from the modern history part of this wiki, because I think it's kind of a little bit funny. So the concept of tulpas was obviously introduced to the West before Supernatural. However, the concept of tulpa most heavily entered recent pop culture through the show Supernatural. In Supernatural Season 1, Episode 17, Hell House, the two protagonists face off against a spirit that they believe to be a tulpa in an abandoned house. And in the show, they reference a Tibetan spirit sigil, which some say is a Tibetan symbol for creation. There is debate over the true source of the symbol, but regardless, it has become widely synonymous with the term tulpa. So no one is really sure what it means, but it is there. And it's there. But I don't know if it's an actual symbol, and I don't know. I would have to do more research and get some more insight. That is all for Taya's Truth Corner, and when I come back, hopefully Haley will come back too.
Hey, I'm back. My computer shut off again. So it'll be really fun when I listen to the recording, like the actual podcast, because whatever Taya just said is going to be new for me. So that's really cool.
That's really cool.
Did you finish your section?
I did, yes.
Okay. So then let's go on to crack shipping. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, and I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, my crack shipping is not a crack ship. It's fucking perfect and established. It's obviously Harry and Ed. They're gay.
And that's not even crack shipping, because crack shipping implies, like, characters that are, like, would, like, unrealistically be together. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just, like, totally off the wall. But this one is real.
Yeah.
This is real.
And then, brought to you by, would you like to go first? Because I think you're excited.
Yes, I would. I am going with, and this one isn't, unfortunately, in the Netflix version, but I am going with Burning for You by Blue Oyster Cult, which
Blue Oyster Cult?
The diner. Yes.
You mean it plays the diner before they find out about Blue Oyster Cult?
It does.
That's so crazy.
It's wild.
Mine is brought to you by Jaded Little Love Song by Terramara. I just like that. I think it's a fun little title.
It's a good title. I just think, like, it doesn't work because they couldn't get the rights or whatever for Netflix, but I think it's so clever because they actually have 2 Blue Oyster Cult songs in the show before you find out that is the Blue Oyster Cult symbol, which I think is, like, such good, subtle foreshadowing. Like, that's so wonderful from, like, a writing standpoint, and then to just like briefly show the Blue Oyster Cult symbol, which like if you know Blue Oyster Cult, you're immediately gonna recognize it, but if you don't, you don't know what that is. So it's just like the little crumbs, like when they actually try with stuff like that, that shit is so good.
Yeah.
It's tasty.
Yeah. So it was really good. And for our favorite Wikipedia part.
Yes.
Mine.
Do you want to go first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine is down in the it's not open right now because my PC crashed, but in the like extra links section way down at the bottom or whatever, there is a broken link. It's broken now, but apparently Hellhound's Lair was an actual website that existed. It was run by the show producers or whatever, while presumably while Supernatural was running. I don't know when it stopped being like active as a website.
Yeah.
But
maybe we'll have to Wayback Machine it.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about the Wayback Machine. Holy shit.
Like, that concept is so wonderful, because I am very into the idea of multimedia content. Like, I was very into the Lizzie Bennet Diaries and stuff, where, like, you actually interact with them, so, like, I'm obsessed with it.
Hey, I'm doodling on my notebook, and I think I just accidentally doodled a vagina.
Anyway. It is 11:30 at night. That's how late it is. Okay, mine is the trivia that the names Ed Zedmore and Harry Spengler are a reference to the characters Winston Zedmore and Egon Spengler from the Ghostbusters, which is also why Dean shouts, "Who you gonna call?" to get the police's attention, and also probably one of the reasons they're called the Ghost Facers.
Oh, for sure. And my rating.
Yes.
I've given this one a 7.6 out of 10 fake ghosts. Because I liked this episode, but not as much as Dead in the Water.
Super valid. On IMDb, this gets an 8.4, which puts it on the same level as Skin and Bloody Mary. I personally would put it above them, because it's also below Asylum.
So wait, what was the rating again?
8.4 out of 10.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I definitely think it should be higher than that, but that's not a terrible rating.
It's not a terrible... Very few of these have terrible ratings. I'm sure we're gonna get, once we get into the later seasons, we'll start getting some 5s.
Right. I would love to know what the lowest Supernatural rated episode is.
Oh, I am keeping track, don't worry.
I love that. So, would you like to say your things?
I would. Thank you so much for listening to this slightly... And by slightly, I mean incredibly chaotic episode of our podcast.
Sometimes it's Homestuck Day, and you impulsively get a tattoo, and then you're just, like, a little bit unhinged for the rest of the night.
I should clarify, Haley got this tattoo, like, an hour before the tattoo parlor closed.
Yeah, I literally was like, hey, guys, what if I go get a tattoo right now? And my friend Jan, shout out to Jan, shout out to Jan, I don't know if you pay attention to this podcast, but I love you. Thanks for enabling me to get a tattoo today. Because I did. So.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. It means a lot to us. We hope you enjoyed, because we have such a fun time listening. You should share it with your friends, share it with your family. They don't have to watch Supernatural, because we will tell you everything, and also we will skip the weird stuff. Or at least talk about it, and we'll make it better. Also, you should leave comments and reviews and likes and all that on whatever platform you're listening to, however you can. Please follow us on Spotify if you aren't already. If you're listening on Spotify and aren't following us, what are you doing?
Yeah,
when we hit 50, we're going to open our Patreon, which mostly will have behind the scenes stuff, but maybe we'll post other stuff. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
If we get 100 Patreons, I'll start writing Supernatural fan fiction.
Holy shit. That would be a lot. Please share this everywhere. You can always talk to us on social media. You can add us on Twitter. You can ask our curious cat. You can send us asks on Tumblr. We'll answer them as often as I check them. But we love talking to you guys. And also, you can also tell us when we're wrong, because if we are wrong, let us know.
Yeah.
You don't have to be mean about it, but if you are mean, we'll deal with it.
And also, if we get to 1,000 followers anywhere, I will get the word Supernatural tattooed on my right ass cheek.
You might want to set a time limit on that one, since this is going to take us 7 years. Like, it might actually if 7 years out you have to get that tattoo, I'm going to cry.
I'm putting that out there. Hold me to it, so.
Well, I didn't hold you to the British accent thing.
Oh,
so.
fuck, I forgot about the British accent thing! I made a note and everything!
Anyway, Haley, Sarah DM'd me when she listened, and they were like, I cannot believe Haley's gonna do this British accent. And I was like, Sarah, I swear to God, do not remind Haley.
Why was I even gonna do that?
Because you were like, leave reviews, or I'm gonna do the entire next episode in a British accent.
Oh my God!
Anyway, this is going on for too long. If you would like us to be on any other podcast services, please let us know, and we'll do our best to get it up there. Please share and subscribe and blah, 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 blah. Haley, go.
Hello, Taya.
I hate this.
How do you feel about flashback episode?
It depends on the episode, to be frank.
I think we'll like the next one.
This is a really bad accent. Okay. I think my friends from England are going to send me hate messages. I think I'm gonna get hate messages as a result of this.
I think I don't know how to do an accent. It's a little bit fucked up, isn't it? We'll catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side. Please log off.